if you buy a gun priced less than a rusty Mosin Nagant, will it also shoot worse than a Mosin Nagant? In this video, we're unboxing and getting our first impressions with the cheapest centerfire bolt-action rifle I've purchased, the Cabelas exclusive Savage Axis XP. Let's roll. What's up everybody, welcome Squad and welcome to Slav Guns. I'm glad to have you here. A few weeks ago, I was browsing my local Cabelas and I saw on their flyer front and center this, a Savage Axis SP complete with a Weaver 3-9x40 rifle scope for just $259 after a $50 mail-in rebate. I immediately decided that this would be an ideal gun for a challenge. Can we get this gun to actually shoot 1,000 yards? But before we go out and take it out to extended ranges, we need to make sure it's sighted in and do a proper barrel break-in. And since this is my very first experience with a Savage Axis, it'll also be a great opportunity for some first impressions. I have not played with this gun before, and it is exactly as I took it out of the store. It is still sealed in the original tamper-proof Cabelas tape, and this will be my first impressions. If you're looking for a complete review of this gun and you're watching this in the future, you'll be able to find it linked above. But for now, let's dig in. This is a Savage Axis XP in 6.5 Creedmoor. A good deal of accuracy comes from the selected cartridge, so I decided to give us the best chance possible in why we have 6.5 Creedmoor, a modern cartridge with great ballistics and tighter tolerances. While the Savage Axis is available in a camo finish and a mounted 3-9 Weaver scope, this gun is in a true timber strata finish, which I prefer myself by far. This is definitely designed to be an entry-level hunting stock, and as such in a traditional stock. Although interestingly, the grip here feels more upright than even on the higher-end precision-focused 110 Tactical, which I've previously reviewed and you can find linked above. The stock has a fairly nice recoil pad and does have two swivel studs which you can use for shoulder strap or a bipod, which is what we will be doing exactly with this gun in a few seconds. The action looks fairly similar to a Savage 110, and we do have a one-piece handle with a bolt knob, and I would look to replace it. The barrel is 22 inches long and a fairly light contour meant for hunting. The barrel is not fretted either, so you cannot easily mount a muzzle brake or suppressor. This is a feature reserved for more expensive models. And oh yeah, this gun does come with a scope and some rings. This is a 3-9 power Weaver rifle scope, and I don't expect it'll be good for anything besides a set it and forget it shooting environment. In either case, this gun is supposed to be factory bore sighted, so we'll see about that. And of course the trigger. This trigger is a simple single flat blade trigger and not like the AccuTrigger on the 110s, which has a trigger blade. Also, some of the higher end Savage models do have the AccuTrigger as well. Okay, let's get some shots down range, and I'll cut out the in-between where I'm cleaning the gun. For those interested, I'm going to clean the barrel now before shooting, and then I'll run a few patches through after every shot for the first 5, then after every 5 shots for the next 15 or 20. Heavy trigger. All right. Roll to the 140 grain, and I will single feed this stuff. Okay, I don't see it. But wow, there's more recoil than I anticipated, and that's because there's no brake, and this is a lightweight gun. All right, so we're supposed to be bore-sighted. It definitely is not. Okay, it looks like it's just the reticle needs to come up. I mean, it's semi kind of in the ballpark, but no, it's not. All right, this should be closer in the ballpark now. We got the first 5 rounds in. We're going to continue our braking, but we're going to get some shots down range. We're using Hornady 6.5 Creedmoor 140 grain ELD max ammo. Okay, low and left. All right, I gotta start testing this with the extraction because it doesn't seem to be extracting it that well. Okay. Oh. It is a little hot. I mean, we're getting... Three. Okay, we're getting a respectable 3-shot group. All right, so these were the targets that I put up, and this was finally the group we were able to put together. We had the first shot here, then we had, I believe it was 1, 2, 3, and then this was the final 5th shot. So obviously we're still breaking the gun in, but we do have a roughly 1 inch, looks just under 1 inch, 3-shot group, but the 5-shot group as a whole is like 3 inches. So I do think possibly the scope moved at this point, so we'll have to double check on that. But definitely was not factory bore sighted. We did have to adjust it, and we'll go from there. So while the barrel is cooling down, let's talk some first impressions. Number one, the recoil. So this is definitely a lightweight stock, lightweight configuration meant for hunting. This is not meant for extended range sessions, and even with 6.5 Creedmoor, you do feel the recoil. It's not horrible, but you definitely do feel it with no muzzle brake and having a light gun. The trigger, not as horrible as I thought it would be. So the trigger here, once again, it's not the AccuTrigger, it definitely is heavy. What I do appreciate is that there is no trigger blade, which just tends to get in the way and do that. So I'm gonna take a look at a way of lightening the trigger, or better yet, I'll probably look at if there's a way to just replace it with an aftermarket trigger. I believe Timney makes one. This scope was definitely not bore-sighted because I had to adjust it. And one thing I'm noticing right now, I'm gonna have to take a look at the earlier footage, I see these marks from the top of the rings. I'm fairly positive that this scope moved from recoil. So take that for what it's worth. The scope itself, it's not great. It's a typical cross reticle, and it's made for hunting. Like I said, it's second focal plane, yeah. Image quality wise, it's not horrible for a 3x9. especially since it's pretty good conditions right now. But if it got darker, yeah, you definitely want to replace something like that. Clicks aren't horrible, so take it for what it's worth, but yeah, it's not the best scope. Use your money and upgrade the scope unless this is going to be a hunting rifle, but at the very least, we got to double check to make sure that the scope did not move on us. One of the things that I definitely am not a fan of, so even though the action is fairly smooth, there is a bit of play, there is this half-cock position when you're trying to open it. And it's very much pronounced because it's a lighter weight gun, but I'm not a fan of it. You also have a one-piece handle here with the bolt knob, and I definitely don't like it. I would do something a little bit different. And I think there's an aftermarket solution from Anarchy Outdoors, and we'll look at that. Removing the bolt is a pain because this is very stiff, so you have to depress the trigger, press that down, and then you can take the bolt out. Same thing as on the Savage 110. However, here it just feels a lot heavier, partly because of the trigger, getting it in and out. Otherwise, I am kind of glad that we did do a proper break-in on this so far for the first 20 rounds. One of the things that I definitely think is happening is, even though this is supposed to be free floated, you can see that there is very little gap in here, and the stock is very flimsy. I mean, I can actually bend it with my hands, and if the stock touches the barrel at any point during the firing process, it would change the barrel harmonics and it wouldn't be consistent. So we'll take a look at that. Finally, actually, the one thing I would say is you do have a tang mounted safety, which is cool, but this thing is plastic and it just feels so flimsy. Not crazy about that. I do wonder if there are aftermarket replacements available. If not, someone probably should make this. Overall, for hunting, I think this is not bad at all, and it definitely feels and shoots better than a $300 rusty Mosin Nagant, as much as that saddens me to say that. And very soon we're going to have our full detailed review on the Savage XP with the standard trigger in the Cabelas exclusive Strata True Timber camo finish. As always, thank you guys for watching, keep on squatting, and I'll see you in the next video.